and there's a great deal to talk about. We exchanged some emails before the event. I had Kerri's incorrect email address, because her old address was unbidden. And I just love that address, that name, right? Unbidden. So it stuck in my mind. So I tried to email like, unbidden. Who comes unbidden? Like lovers become unbidden. Ghosts become unbidden. Yeah. But and some ideas were thrown around, so we'll investigate some of those. So we have then, actually I should start with Humanities here, author Pola-san, from, in a sense, from Joy's creative work that Japanese Canadian literature really flowered, including the writers who are gathered here today. So just recognize Joy. Terry Watada, we were talking earlier about things that I'd forgotten that I gave a talk to Murakami that Terry gave to me, and then now I'm translating Murakami, and Terry's a big Murakami fan, so now we've got lots of fun. Terry's had a great career, very, very eclectic, doing different kinds of things, performance-based, literary-based, editing. It just had a kind of a dynamo within Canadian literature, not just Japanese Canadian literature. So Terry Watada is to my right. Kerri Sakamoto to my left. She won the Commonwealth Prize, right? An extraordinary prize for the first novel, first Canadian novel to win. Really, really weird novel. And really, really good. I mean, really good. And then after that, 100 Million Hearts, which is, in a sense, to me, a prime representative of post-repress Japanese Canadian literature, which looks into all those nooks and crannies, all those dark and shadowy spots that we're investigating. And just a marvelous writer. As you know, if you read just a page or two, like 400 million words, you can get that right away. And then next to her, someone who I've just gotten to know recently, Leslie Shimotakahara. And Leslie is the youngest person on the panel, and is writing. She wrote a book called Reading List, which I just read over the weekend. Again, I really, really enjoyed that book, and it's clear. Again, when you just read a few pages, that you're reading someone who really knows how to write and has an edge. I think one thing you can say about all the members of this panel is they have an edge. They're edgy. It's not a simple, recounting classical novel. So Leslie has this verve and this skill, and now her first novel will be coming out in April. So I really, really look forward to that. And then finally, my old friend, really, really old friend, good friend. No, old in terms of the years we've known each other. We were at the University of Toronto together in the East Asian Studies Department. Lynne, mastered Japanese, which is funny because, this is one of the in a sense, injustices. Because I'm a gaiji, because I'm a foreigner, right? I learned Japanese, and everybody goes, whoa, wow, wow. You don't have to even speak very well. And people are raving about how good the Japanese is. And someone like Lynne doesn't get that kind of, in a sense, almost false, exaggerated response. But it's just as hard. So I know how hard Lynne worked to become totally fluent in Japanese, to translate Japanese literature into English. And then now to have published her first novel, Translation of Love, which is, it's just been reviewed in the New York Times. It's an extraordinary novel. As a first novel, it's almost unbelievable. And when we had the launch, she had the launch at the Ben McNally bookstore. They were saying they'd never seen a launch like that. People were lined up to the door, where you come in from the outside, all the way to the door, lined up to talk to them and get their books done. So it's really struck a chord. So, in other words, what I'm saying is, we have 4 really active, interesting, edgy, and important writers. So what are we going to talk about? I mean, one of the things that was broached in the emails was the very category of Japanese Canadian literature, Japanese Canadian fill in the blank, and how that's changed, how it's evolved. And so maybe, Kerri, you want to say a little bit something about, you've been around for a while. You know how it was? You've been around for a while. You know.
Yeah, call Momiji. I should check. Well, yeah, I don't think writers today start out to be Japanese Canadian writers. They just start out to be writers. But when I started in 1970, I was with a group of people who decided that it's a political act to call yourself a Japanese Canadian writer and an Asian Canadian writer. And I think it was modeled on the Asian Americans who also did the same thing. Just to have something say, you know, when I was at university, the only way that I could study someone, a writer of color, was to take the Commonwealth Literature course. And that was a white professor pontificating about South Africa or Australia, not even Australia, sorry, other places around the world. And so there was no such thing as Japanese Canadian or Asian Canadian or American writing. And so, so I and my group of pals decided to strike a blow and say we're Japanese Canadian writers. But that has changed over the years, and I don't think that, as I said, I don't believe anyone starts out by saying I'm a Japanese Canadian writer.
Oh yeah, I think that's true. I mean, it's so much tied up with how people just self-identify, you know, just moving out in this world, and it's very much changed from when I came of age, and was basically the same generation as Kerri, and the way that people think about race and difference is completely different now. But yes, I think it was a real act of reclamation to call yourself a Japanese Canadian writer, to say I'm this and it's a hybrid identity, and I'm Japanese but I'm still Canadian, because you were mistaken for being a foreigner at that time. There were not as many Asians in Canada as there are now. So it was a real declaration of self. And to, I mean, I think personally, people felt, well, I felt there was so much to write about that had not been written, and I mean, the history of internment and the experience of growing up with racism, that you wanted to, I felt like I wanted to express that. More than just to be a writer, I really wrote personally out of a sense of needing to express what wasn't, you know, what I wasn't seeing reflected in literature or in culture at all at that time.
Well, long before I dared to start writing, I was a reader. And I remember in the 1970s and 1980s how startling it was when I read, for the first time, Asian American, or Japanese American, or Asian Canadian, Japanese Canadian writing. Up until then, it seemed that the way to study literature was to study the canon of existing, mostly white, Canadian literature. And I remember that the first Asian American novel I ever read was Maxine Hong Kingston, The Lawyer, and I was just blown away. And then after that, in the early 1980s, I read Joy Kogawa's Obasan, and that just resonated so deeply internally. I suddenly realized that things that I was looking for in reading, looking for in literature, it was, of course, to understand the aesthetics of literature, but it was also to look for myself. And I think most readers, when they're reading anything, a part of it is looking for yourself, looking for something that you can identify with. So many things are universal, but some things are also very unique to your own personal identity. And I guess reading Japanese Canadian literature, I suddenly found a voice. It was somebody else's voice, but it was my voice. So through the voice of that literature, I was able to find things inside myself. And I think that's probably true for other kinds of literature, you know, other different elements of Asian Canadian literature or other forms of literature that we read that are go well beyond the so-called